Everyone knows that feeling, wanting to experience more stories, but struggling to find the time. That's where Audible changes everything. With over 1 million audiobooks and Audible originals, there's a story waiting to spark anyone's imagination. Take The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley, the gripping psychological thriller that's keeping listeners on the edge of their seats. Imagine unraveling its mysteries during your morning commute, or losing yourself in its twists and turns while doing household chores. That's the magic of Audible. It transforms daily routines into opportunities for thrilling discoveries. The best part? Members get access to thousands of included titles, with new content added regularly. From bestsellers to hidden gems, every genre imaginable is at their fingertips. And with one easy-to-use app, switching between favorites or discovering new passions has never been simpler. There's more to imagine when you listen. Start a free 30-day Audible trial and get your first audiobook free at audible.com/Wondery. That's audible.com/Wondery.
Don't ask me to talk. Another week, another episode of Don't Ask Me to Talk with your host, Stacey Heller.
And me, Eric Ryder.
Hey, it's another week.
Yeah, the Convo Kids ride again.
Yes, we do.
Your podcast pals back in action, taking you on the scenic route of every conversation.
Totally. Giddy up. You ready?
You know it.
Of course. Hey, this time I'm going to actually do the whole intro thing, like, in order and everything. Like, for instance...
Say what now?
I know, right? Exactly. You're like, wait, you already messed it up. Basically, if you haven't listened to the show before, welcome. We talk about...
that's... thank you. We never say welcome
well,
to the listeners.
Right?
We just say, how are you doing? And launch into our conversation. But we never take the time to say, thank you for being there. Thank you for listening. We love you and appreciate you as listeners. So,
totally.
Yeah, we're not going to do that, but I just wanted to point out that we never do that. So
we don't. And so I just felt like I wanted to say, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome. Yes.
Right. We talk about all kinds of random topics. We never met a tangent that we didn't follow or like.
Yep.
Exactly. And, those are the kinds of friends that you want. The ones that you can talk about everything from the sublime to the ridiculous and have a laugh while you're doing it. And if you find that you enjoy what you're listening to, then you can find past episodes of the show wherever you listen to podcasts. Consider subscribing, liking, following, commenting. If you do comment, then we will read your review on the show. You'll become famous, just as famous as us.
At least. Probably 10 times as much.
Probably. And I say that I'll even read bad reviews. Eric isn't so sure.
No, I'm not doing that. Only positive, 5-star or above. Again, if you find a way to hack the system and give us 6 stars or 7 stars, then yes, please do that.
I went to a website recently, but
if you can't, then 5 stars is much appreciated.
Yeah, totally. By the way, thank you in advance. I went to a website recently, and the testimonial that was on the website was like 6 stars, and I was like, "Oh, somebody hacked the system." I was very impressed with that.
There you go.
But anyway, you can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Don't Ask Me to Talk. And then, of course, if you want to communicate with us, there's a few different ways that you can do it. Tell them what they've won. No, you're supposed to share the number and stuff.
Okay. You've won a phone number where you can reach us. 475-999-2726. Again, that's 475-999-2726. Or you can email us. asking@don'taskmetotalk.com is the email address. Again, it's the word asking@don'taskmetotalk.com.
See, you get all that radio voice going, and I'm all like, okay, you're good at that part. It's like you've done it once or twice or 1,000 times. Anyway.
It is my job.
It is your job. So last time we talked about, last time we picked for this week's topic. So if you're new to the show, at the end of every show, we pick what we're going to talk about the next week. And then we finally get to it in the last 10 minutes of the show.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens. But this seemed fitting. our topic this week is best soundtracks, like movie soundtracks.
Right.
And then I was thinking about as I was trying to come up with these soundtracks that I had to pick from, and I did narrow it down in, the 5 minutes before we were set to do the show to 5 soundtracks, which I thought was pretty good.
Wow.
But I did think about it throughout the week, and I noticed that there's sort of a soundtrack to our life. It makes me think of the Love Song by Taylor Swift, and she's like, our song is the sound of screen doors or whatever it is. Different sounds that play throughout the soundtrack of your life, right? So I was getting my nails done. After we were talking about what kind of staff would we have, I was like, you know what? I am going to drive myself
Get a fancy manicure.
to get a manicure because I am certainly not going to clean my own house.
Might chip a nail.
Exactly. So I went to get my nails done, and I'm there getting my nails done. It's early in the day. Nobody's really there. It's quiet as quiet can be. Normally, when I go there, Pete and I go together. We get a pedi. It's the weekend. It's a little crazy, and I'm not really hearing the music. Well, when I say music, what I mean is music. And for some reason, it really struck me as I'm listening to this music.
So you're basically talking about instrumental versions of these songs that are kind of sanitized and made a little softer for the public consumption in a manicure setting or a supermarket setting or something like that.
But I feel like you hear less and less of that anymore.
That's true. Usually they're just playing the hits.
Right. I feel
terrible hits, but they're playing them.
Well, and, and it's funny, I've seen a whole trend of people of a certain age on social media talking about, when did going to, insert doctor's office here, and, you're listening to the oldies, and it turns out the oldies are, what was our contemporary music, when we were younger, right? So there's not really that much music anymore. And
that's true.
There I was.
Especially not the brand name music.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, does that even exist anymore?
I think it does exist in name only. It was bought by Mood Media in 2011. But it used to be a Seattle company.
Really?
Yeah. And a lot of the musicians that got well known for playing quite heavy rock, i.e. grunge, later actually had jobs working at Muzak before that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, a gig's a gig, right?
A gig is a gig. Hey, if you're playing music and you're getting paid, that's pretty sweet.
Right, exactly. Interesting. Well, so this was truly that ambient, it's supposed to just be it comes in and out of your consciousness.
Yeah.
And it stayed... I became hyper aware of it by song 1 when it was the Bee Gees. It wasn't Staying Alive. It was one of the also hits. And then it went to, I don't know if this is the name of it, but the song by Maroon 5, Memories, Cheers to the ones we have lost.
God, hate it.
Okay. And then there was some Simon and Garfunkel. And then there was some Bonnie Raitt. And it was it became name that tune. And it feels like it's buying the supermarket brand of a cereal, because it's it's just off slightly, but you're is this that song? Is this, let's give them something to talk about? But the cadence is a little off. Yeah. Right. Wait. Did you record that? Right. With a ukulele and weird things. And so it just became this running thing for me while I was sitting there, and I was not chit-chatting. The gal that was helping me with my nails, she was lovely. She did an amazing job, but we were not going to sit and chit-chat.
Sometimes you're drifting off, while
totally
doing stuff.
And I was totally enthralled with this music and the fact that I could name that tune.
Right.
So it was just very interesting.
I do the same thing. One of the supermarkets that I go to 3 different supermarkets. And one of them the 2 of them play the hits or whatever, but one of them plays the Muzak style stuff. And again, I don't know if it's the brand name music
Yep.
or not. But I do notice like stuff that it's like, oh, wow, I know this tune. What the hell is it?
Yes.
And B, it's like, oh, if they had the lyrics in this, it probably wouldn't be that appropriate for the supermarket.
Right.
And one of the songs is that Steely Dan song that goes, drink Scotch whiskey all night long and die behind the wheel. And
Really?
and that takes me back to when I worked at Red Lobster, one of my first jobs.
Mm-hmm.
They had a tape, basically, that played the same playlist of songs.
Over and over.
One of them was Enya, Ornico Flow,
Yep.
which I liked before working there.
Yeah, Enya was like, it was good.
But I couldn't take it anymore after
they don't
being there.
flip the tape.
No, it was the same tape every single day that I worked there for a year plus.
I worked at Williams-Sonoma, same thing.
Exactly. And then one of the other songs was that Steely Dan song.
Really?
And it just seemed really weird in a place with a bar to have drink Scotch whiskey all night long and die behind the wheel as a song being played. But yeah.
In today's culture, it would you'd get sued.
Possibly.
Right?
They put a subliminal message in my head. So that's why I crashed this car.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Red Lobster needs to pay for this all-you-can-eat crash.
Right. I had tryptophan running through my system and Muzak. Anyway, I enjoyed it and I hated it and loved it simultaneously.
Yeah, that's essentially the feeling.
Of elevator music.
Right.
And it was just it was mildly depressing that I was like, oh, I wonder if they're considering this oldies. And the fact that and then I was like, am I singing these out loud? Every once in a while, you sort of catch yourself and you're like, am I saying that out loud? And I would sort of come to occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, oh God. I mean, look, I've sang lyrics on this show before and I've said I'm the love child of Kate Smith and Ethel Merman. So me singing these songs is not good. And so every once in a while I would be like, oh, I hope I wasn't singing that. Xanadu, I think, came on. I don't know. It was a wild time. But anyway, so that's what we're talking about, soundtracks. But
right.
We're not talking about that yet. There's so much other stuff to talk about.
Yeah, that is coming up. But, also coming up, of course, is Halloween, coming up in about a week's time. And I'm continuing my very limited celebration that I do every year, which is throw in a few spooky movies throughout the month. And this year is no exception. Really, the last 4 years, I've watched one of the George Romero zombie movies. He originally had Night of the Living Dead in the 60s.
You suggested Return of the Living Dead for me.
Right, which is a different movie.
Okay.
But both are great. But Night of the Living Dead, he made that in the 60s on a shoestring budget, but it just is a absolute classic. So I rewatched that again 4 years ago, and I was like, dang, this is really good. And so I was like, okay, well, next year I'll check out some of these sequels that I've always kind of ignored. Mm-hmm. And so I watched Dawn of the Dead, and that was great too.
With Shaun of the Dead, who you...
Right, which was parodied in a way by Shaun of the Dead. At least the title was a parody of that. So that was great too. I'm like, George Romero, you've done it again. And so
shout out George.
Yeah, you did it. You've done it again 30 years ago. And then last year I watched Day of the Dead. And then so this year, which again, phenomenal. This year I watched Land of the Dead. Not quite as good. This may be the point where I jump off the zombie train.
So it landed a dud instead of Land of the Dead.
It's okay, but those other movies were all lower budget, and I think the budget constraints forced them to be a little more innovative. And a little scrappier. And the weird thing is none of those actors from those first 3 movies seem to go on to big success, So in a way, that's great as a viewer because you kind of you just really buy these people you've never seen before. And
Right.
And when they die, it's like, okay,
Right.
they're gone.
Right.
It's not like, okay, Tom Cruise, I'm going to see him again.
Right.
So, but it's weird because all the casts of those first 3 movies are fantastic. Then he gets a little more money to make this movie, The Land of the Dead, and it's got Dennis Hopper and Johnny Legs, John Leguizamo,
Yeah.
and
John Leguizamo is fascinating to me.
the
His
guy in The
resume.
Mentalist. I can't remember his name. Simon Baker, I think it is.
Oh, yeah.
So it had a bigger cast, and it was good, but just not quite as good as those others. But I highly recommend.
Okay.
I highly recommend, especially if you watch Shaun of the Dead, and think to yourself, okay, I can handle this level of gore. Check out those movies because they're sometimes funny, sometimes thrilling, sometimes scary, but always, it just adds up to a really brilliant piece of filmmaking. So,
Where do you think what's the origin of zombies?
well, that's a good question because zombies are that goes way back. That was like a voodoo thing even. And as far as in the movies, I think the first one was called White Zombie. And it was all about voodoo stuff. But it wasn't until the Romero movies where zombies started to be in horror movies and stuff.
Okay.
And he kind of, with his movies, ended up kind of setting the rules for zombies. If they are shot in the head, basically, then they die. But nothing else can kill them, essentially. And if
so
you get
that's
bit by
why.
a zombie, then you become a zombie. All that stuff, that's all his creation.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a heavy mantle to hold.
Right? Yeah.
Wow. I mean, because that is even, I think I mentioned last week that Charlie has been playing The Last of Us, which I think is that zombie thing that, what's his name? Pedro Pascal was in or something.
Uh-huh.
He was playing the game at home and I was like, of course, I instantly am like, what's going on here? What's happening?
Yeah.
Whatever. And it was just interesting seeing well, this person is fully a zombie and this person's partially and this person their skin got slashed and once your blood is infected and and then the shots, I'm like, why isn't he dead? You've shot him 1,000 times.
Right.
And he's like, because I didn't get him in the head.
That's it.
I
That's all because of George Romero. Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
Right. Then the thing is, him and his screenwriting partner on that first movie, Night of the Living Dead, they ended up going their separate ways after that movie. They couldn't come to agreement on what to do with a sequel. So his screenwriting partner, he wrote a book called Return of the Living Dead. And so then that got adapted into a movie. And that was the one that I
That you
watched
mentioned.
last week. And that is a much more comedic take on zombies. And basically the concept in that one is that the Night of the Living Dead was a true story or based on a true story, but they had to change things to make the movie, basically, or the army wouldn't let them do it.
Oh, that feels very War of the Worlds.
Yeah, so in this movie, shooting a zombie in the head doesn't do anything. They don't care. And they can talk.
Oh.
And there's a very funny scene where they kill some ambulance paramedics. And then one of the zombies gets on the radio and says, "Send more paramedics."
Oh, that's funny.
And they do the same thing with the cops, too. Send more policemen. And then they all become zombies.
Oh.
Yeah, but that's worth a watch too. Very funny. And a fantastic soundtrack. I was definitely going to mention it again when we get to the best soundtracks.
Really?
Yep.
It's not just
No.
like a car trying to start.
No.
Brains.
Great music in it. Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting. Wow. See, you learned so much on this show. You're welcome, listeners. See, thank you for listening, and you're welcome for all this important information.
All the zombie talk.
Exactly. I didn't know. And you know what? It is Halloween Safety Month, and so it only makes sense that we tell you all the important things you need to know about zombies.
It's like avoid them.
Yes. And if you're dyslexic, then remember to avoid them, not go toward them.
Right. And I'd love to know from our listeners if they have a favorite zombie movie that I didn't mention, or if they like any of the ones that I did mention. I'd love to hear.
Yeah. Or any zombie stuff. Like, hey, I'm guilty of playing Plants vs. Zombies when it first came out.
I played one called Zombie Hunter. There was a game on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Mine
fun
was
too.
Plants vs. Zombies.
Yeah.
And those were the good old days. I wonder if that's still out there. Anyway, well, maybe I'll find out during the break. Should we take a break here?
Let's do it.
All right. We'll be right back with more Don't Ask Me to Talk.
Do you feel challenged by the thought of getting ready every day? Want to make a great first impression, but don't feel your wardrobe represents who you really are? Does the thought of trying to find great clothing that fits your body and lifestyle have you overwhelmed? Michael Bruce Image Consulting is a premier image consulting company that can help you get your style back on track. Contact them at michaelbruceimageconsulting.com or call them at 425-214-4155 and start that conversation today.
Hey, welcome back to Don't Ask Me to Talk. I am one of your hosts, Stacey Heller, joined by
Brains. No, sorry, Eric Ryder.
yes, and he does have brains, and he uses them most of the time.
Yes.
Which I should be nicer because it is National Bullying Prevention Month.
Is it? Okay.
It is.
How do we prevent bullies?
Well, we don't talk about whether or not we should have a chef, a housekeeper, or a driver. No, we prevent by speaking up for others. That's what we do.
Good idea.
Let's see. Anything else because next week we only have one day in October. So I feel like it's Bad Appreciation Month. It's also Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So hey, be aware, go get checked out. That's an important thing. Also, it's Dental Hygiene Month. You know what? Bad hygiene, dental hygiene, it can cause problems down the line. I have been twice crowned. That's right. I had coronation day and I've got 2 crowns, and probably it's because I didn't take great care of my teeth. So here we are. But let's talk about the holidays. Did you know that today is National Kangaroo Awareness Day?
I did not.
Well, now you do.
I am always aware of kangaroos.
Don't you think it's weird that it's in Australia, if it was in Australia, but don't you think it's weird that we have a National Kangaroo Awareness Day?
Right. I guess it's not International Kangaroo Awareness Day.
I think that's kind of weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
Because there's a lot of days that I don't put on these lists. I kind of curate and I go through and I'm like, you know what? We don't really need to talk about that.
Remember when they had the shoes, though? Ruse, remember those?
Yeah.
And the whole, the breakthrough technology of Ruse that made every kid want them in my school was that they had a little pocket on the side.
Yes. I do remember that.
Yes.
That's funny.
Those were so big for 1 year and then disappeared. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Shoes can make or break you. I've been doing some hostessing a couple evenings, and I was trying to be cute while I was doing it. And then I went and I found a pair of really comfy shoes. And I'll tell you what, I'm like, you know what? This is life-changing to have shoes that are actually really comfortable. I don't know that I am willing to take a sword for cute anymore.
Right. Yeah, the battle goes on between
Cute and comfy.
what's more important.
Right.
Cute shoes or comfortable shoes.
And I'll tell you what, comfortable is winning after a shift of running around.
For you.
Well.
But some people are still going with the 12-inch stilettos as opposed to the Crocs.
Right.
I feel like we need the happy medium always.
Yes. And I will say that the comfortable shoes are definitely not as cute. But you know what? I'll tell you what. I was like, these aren't hideous. They're respectable. And they're comfortable. So
Fair enough.
There's a time and a place.
Do they have a pocket?
Well, yes. It's where you put your foot in. One could argue that that's a pocket of sorts.
Okay.
Right?
But remember also when Velcro came out for shoes?
Oh.
Like how oh my God, I got to get those. I got some shoes with the Velcro, and like within a week they had like so much like
gunk and lint
gunk and
like
lint
dirt
and
clothes.
threads and stuff that they couldn't like close properly anymore.
Okay, tomorrow I thought it was interesting that we had a global holiday, a world holiday, an international holiday, and a national holiday. And it just puts into perspective how ridiculous America is. Because the national holiday, you can choose, there's Breadstick Day or Bandana Day. But there's Global Champagne Day, which doesn't make sense to me because it's only really champagne if it's from the Champagne region of France. How is that global?
You can drink it around the globe, though.
Sure, like Pitbull.
There you go.
Got a stamp in every passport page. And then it is Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah.
Exactly. See what I did there?
Yes.
Poorly, but I did it. World Opera Day and then International Artists Day. I was like, fascinating. What's the difference between global and world and international? Right? I don't know. Let's see. What else? We could talk about National Black Cat Day, which I have. Okay. Is a tuxedo and a black cat, are they both considered black cats? Or is a
I would
black
say
cat
no.
really a black cat?
A black cat has to be all black.
All right. I had one of those. His name was Jeremiah.
I used to have one. Her name was Samantha,
Oh.
named after the witch on Bewitched.
I was just about to say Bewitched. Mine was named after the bullfrog. You know.
Oh, Jeremiah was a joy to the world.
Joy to the world.
Sure.
Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
I bet you heard the Muzak version of that, too.
Probably. Was a good friend of mine. Exactly. And then I thought this one was weird. This one felt a little Plush Animal Lovers Day.
Oh, for stuffed up animals.
For stuffed up animals, which I was like, is this like the same people that are the furries that like we're willing to pay the money for Plush Animal Lovers Day?
I guess.
It's like
Is
weird.
money, I don't think we've ever firmly established if money is actually involved in creating these.
I'm
or not.
pretty sure. So there's a couple different sites that I go to, and one of the sites is called National Day Today, or like something like, I think it is National Day Today, but it's all the holidays, whether they're international, global, worldwide, whatever. And there's a spot like, oh, do you want to make a holiday? And you can like buy, and there's definitely money. There's a money exchange for a holiday. Now, some of the other sites, I don't like. The Today Show has like a list of holidays that.
So you're telling me Big Oatmeal, it says, gentlemen, this is the year we get our own holiday.
Yep. 100%.
And then bam, National Oatmeal Day on the 29th.
Yep. That's exactly what happens. Now, and then remember.
Tired of cornflakes getting all the glory.
Exactly. Big Oatmeal. I love that it's Big Oatmeal. Like, don't you feel like it's like remember we talked about the 97-pound weakling? I feel like a couple weeks ago, didn't we? We were talking about the guy that was Charles Atlas, and how in his ads for his fitness routine, did I talk about this alone?
No, I remember you talking about it. Yeah. I got sidetracked because I started thinking about Wilford Brimley because he used to do commercials for oatmeal. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And so, yeah, for a second there, I drifted off. But go ahead.
I feel like, though,
Atlas.
Oatmeal is like the 97-pound weakling who, like, was like, no, like, I got something to say. Like, I got the money. I could have my own day. Like, I don't know. It's just, that's my own little weird thing. I also alluded.
It's the right thing to do and the healthy way to do it. Diabetes.
Diabetes. It's
speaking of and tying this back into the horror movies. The Thing. I watched that recently too, and it's got a young Wilford Brimley, but he's old. he's
What?
old even
Wait,
in
really?
Yes.
Was he in Cocoon too?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he was my age in Cocoon.
playing an elderly person.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. That was like Donna Michi, right? Was in Cocoon, I think, too. That's kind of funny.
But I was just thinking, watching the thing, was there ever a time when he didn't look like he was 75?
Not that I've ever known of him. To
Right.
be. Like, no, not at all. Okay. The 30th is finally National Candy Corn Day. I alluded to it last week, and so make sure you celebrate it because it's official. And it's also Mischief Night. Now,
What's going to happen? A bunch of kids get hopped up on candy corn.
Hey.
Mischief Night is right around the corner.
Wild. Did you ever do anything naughty on Mischief Night?
You know,
Oh, dear.
You talk about how your husband is a rule follower.
Uh-huh.
I am a rule follower as well. Maybe not to the extent that he is, but I remember like one time, like some friends convinced me to go out and TP the neighborhood, right? And I reluctantly went along and TP'd some houses, not even houses really, but trees.
Right.
I felt so bad about it
up.
that I went and cleaned
You
up.
cleaned up.
TP later, just because I felt like, we've had our fun now. Why should they have to deal with this? So,
I mean,
that's different from the time that I accidentally TP'd the neighborhood with my cut rate mummy costume that my mummy came up with. Where it was just me wrapped in toilet paper.
As you're running from house to house,
The
you're
Charmin
leaving.
mummy, yes. And look down and like suddenly like only half my leg is covered. That time that was a pure accident.
Oh my gosh.
But this was a purposeful TPing. And luckily I didn't do the eggs because
that's serious.
That's tough to clean up. Yeah.
Like, and people did that, like, back in the day, and it's like,
Right.
it takes the paint off of cars and houses.
Yep.
Like, it wreaks havoc, and it's like, oh, it's just good, clean fun. No, it's not good, and it's not clean, and it's not fun. So there.
And it's wasting food.
Well, yeah, and that too.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's like the worst.
But that is about the extent of my mischief. Now, once or twice, a friend did something more mischievous than that, and I was just along for the ride. I couldn't really do much about it. Like they stole her mom's car.
Oh my gosh.
But you know, what do? You know, you're there, you're hanging out, and
Right.
yeah. So I do not recommend kids because he got in huge trouble when we got back to the house and his mom found out.
Did you hear the story about the 8-year-old that took her mom's car with the dog in it and drove to the Target that was like a few miles away?
I think I heard this like in the background.
Yeah.
Recently. Yeah, I didn't hear the details.
Yeah, she was mad or ticked off about something, and then she dropped her phone or her tablet or something and broke the screen, so decided that she would take herself to Target and get a replacement.
Wow.
And drove herself to Target, had the dog hop in the car, and off they went, and they found her. And as the police retell it, she was sitting there having a Frappuccino, although the mom's like, I don't think she was sitting there having a Frappuccino. I think they bought her one and they thought it would be funny.
Mhm.
And the girl was like, yeah, I made it the whole way. I just hit one mailbox. It was green.
Wow.
Can you imagine? I'm like,
How does this kid have the money to buy a new iPad?
how is it that I don't think she ended up buying it? I think she just got herself there and was like shopping around and hanging out.
Okay.
And maybe took some money from mom's wallet.
Uh-huh.
But I'm like, how could the kid reach the pedals and like look out the window at the same time simultaneously? I'm like, I need deets. I need to know how this happened.
Right. We'll have to look into that a little more.
Yeah. Anyway, that's mischief.
That is
Mischief.
mischief. Yeah.
Yeah, we never did anything that was like super crazy, but I remember it always being a night of like, as a little kid, wondering like what havoc will have been wrought the night before and like what am I going to wake up to, especially if it was a school day. And it was like, is there going to be like stuff all over, shaving cream and like toilet paper and all
Well,
that stuff?
thankfully, that's actually like calmed down a lot from where it used to be. Because, I mean, like Halloween celebrations actually exist because kids were going crazy.
Yes.
Back in the day, like in the 20s and stuff.
Yeah.
Like Devil's Night, you know, they were like gathering like loose furniture and burning it in the center of
It was
town.
like Burning Man.
Yeah, crazy stuff going on with just like kids running wild. And so then they decided, why don't we give them some candy and get them to go home?
What could happen?
Yes. Why don't we have little like pageants and stuff, you know,
Right.
to occupy these kids so that they're not like busted loose. And thankfully that worked.
It did. I mean, it's you know, it's a thing that has kind of gone by the wayside. But there was some kind of like when things were just mischievous versus like
Dangerous and
scary
Yeah.
slash like destructive.
Mhm.
Like it was sort of fun when it was like, you know, like ring and run or, you know, something like that. Or you leave like the spooky like basket on the front lawn and, you know, ring and run. I don't know. It was a kinder, gentler time. Okay, I'm showing my age. Between the Muzak and this, I'm like, oh my God. Back in my day.
Those were the days.
Exactly.
And you know where you belong. Okay.
All right.
Remember that?
Yes.
Yes.
I do. What's it from?
It's like All in the
All
Family.
in the Family?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who also, those actors were not as old as like you would think that they
Right.
like the number of
The
things.
Golden Girls.
Golden
They were our
Girls.
age.
Right. Like the number of actors where I'm like, okay, I am not that old. I am not ready to like live in a retirement community in Florida with like my 3 friends whose husbands have died. Like
Exactly.
it's yeah. All right. I'm starting to feel my mortality. Should we take a break here?
Let's do it.
Okay. Keep listening to Don't Ask Me to Talk. We'll be right back.
This is Eric Ryder reminding you to follow us on Facebook. We're at Don't Ask Me to Talk, and we're on Instagram, again, at Don't Ask Me to Talk. We'd love to hear from you, so check us out on social media and leave us a comment. Leave us a like. Remember, you can always email us directly at asking@don'taskmetotalk.com or leave us a voicemail or text at 475-999-2726. That's 475-999-2726.
We're back, and you are listening to Don't Ask Me to Talk with your host, Stacey Heller.
And Eric Ryder.
All right.
Have you come up with a costume, by the way? Do you do costumes?
I don't. I found a really cute one last year, and I'm going to repeat it. It was a blow-up frame of the Mona Lisa, and you just stick your face through the hole.
Oh, I like that.
And so I
That's
thought
cute.
that was cute.
I went as a painting one year, too.
Did you? The
Yeah.
Scream?
No.
I'm just assuming because it's got a face on it. What was it?
The Son of Man.
The Son of Man. The
It's a Magritte.
the Magritte, Renee Magritte.
Yeah.
Was
painting.
it the hat and an apple or?
That's right. Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah, I just happened to have a foam apple floating around the house. And
Like you
it,
do.
It was like, yeah, one of those like stress ball things.
Oh yeah.
So that gave me the inspiration. Hey, I bet I could come up with a way to have that floating in front of my face. And sure enough, I had a little bowler hat too, costume bowler hat floating around from a previous costume. Combine the two things and bam, you're halfway there. So
Look at you.
I love that when, you think, oh, I can't come up with a costume and who has the time, the energy, the effort? And then it just comes to you like a lightning bolt, like sometimes even the day before Halloween. And then bam, you come up with sometimes the all-time greats.
Okay. I don't want to get too into this, but I have to tell this while we're talking about costumes. So Charlie, my youngest, was going to a party a couple weeks ago, and you were supposed to dress up like a villain. So he says, so I'm thinking of going as John Lennon. And I'm like, what? I don't even know what you're talking about. And he was like, well, and I was like, no, first of all, it was Gal Gadot that turned Imagine into some awful song during the pandemic. So that wasn't John Lennon's fault. And I was like,
I don't know about this, but I'll take your word
yeah,
for it.
it was like a whole thing where all these celebrities were like, oh, let's sing Imagine. Like that's going to help us. And then he's like, well, he left his wife. And I was like, okay, then that makes like half of most marriages
51%
of like
of the nation's marriages end in divorce. So,
right. So I was like, okay, we need to talk about like heroes and villains. Like
Right.
We need to go back to basics. Anyway, he ended up going as Elon Musk.
There you go.
So there you go. Yeah, I was like,
who really does come off as like a James Bond villain.
a quirky,
sometimes.
weird villain, right?
Yeah.
He's sort of like Doc Octopus,
He's practically Dr. No.
which is, I realize, a Spider-Man.
He's Dr.
villain.
No, thank you.
Yeah, well, right. So anyway, okay, let's talk about soundtracks.
Yes, the topic this week, best soundtrack. Any inspirational thoughts behind this on what drove you to add it to the wheel?
So there was a movie that I love, and this is on my list. The movie was called The Thing Called Love. It was the last movie that River Phoenix ever did. He did it with Samantha Matheson or something. Dermot Mulrooney, I think. I always get him and the other one mixed up. Sandra Bullock. It was like he played a character, James Wright, and I loved the music, which made me think, like, do I like country music? I had like this, like, what is that? Like, how could I like country music? I don't think I like country music. Anyway, I love that soundtrack. And I recently heard one of the songs that I'm like, this is from that soundtrack. So then I had to go back and look it up on Spotify and saw the soundtrack. And I was like, I remember all these songs. So that's kind of where it came from. Like one of those soundtracks where the music very much makes up the story. And in the movie, they are aspiring country singers / writers. And so the music is very much entwined in it. And he sings in it, which River Phoenix had a great voice. And so it was good. And so then I was like, what other soundtracks are really good? And so that's where that came from. So,
Cool.
So if you like country music, then The Thing Called Love is a really good movie. And it was River Phoenix's last. Okay. Do you want to hear my other ones?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was because, as always, I did not do my homework, so I had to come up with these lickety-split. The Graduate. I mean,
I'm trying to think of the music. Oh, okay. Simon and Garfunkel, of course, very famously, here's to you,
Yep.
Mrs. Robinson. Yeah.
totally. And it's pretty much all Simon and Garfunkel, and maybe literally all Simon and Garfunkel. But, like, classic, and I grew up listening to that music, and I still love listening to Simon and Garfunkel. When Harry Met Sally. So, like, I'm a...
5 songs from the folk rock duo Simon and Garfunkel.
There you go. So, it like a substantial amount.
Right.
When Harry Met Sally. Now, here's the funny thing about that soundtrack. It's when the world was introduced to Harry Connick Jr. And so there's a lot of standards on that album, that soundtrack. He did a couple of them, and it's sort of the world was introduced to him as an artist. And like, I just love that music. And so it was all like, it was great. I already mentioned The Thing Called Love. Grosse Pointe Blank.
Oh, that's a good one.
Like any movie that has the violent femmes like in the soundtrack, and it's very like 80s. It's Joan Cusack, going back for a reunion. He's a hitman. Like, it's that dark, twisted, smart humor. Like,
Now, do you own all these soundtracks, by the way?
they are on my Spotify. Like, I'll have
Okay.
the album saved. The Thing Called Love, the full soundtrack, interestingly, is not there. And I was trying to find the version of one of the songs that was on it that I think was sung by Trisha Yearwood, and I couldn't find it. So it was kind of hard to find it. But anyway, and then, of course, Annie.
Right.
I have long talked about my love and obsession of the Broadway show, the movies, any iteration. Like 100% the one that like there was like rap music. Yep, love it. Who could not love It's a Hard Knock Life with I think Jay-Z doing it and like yep, all versions of it. So those are my 5 soundtracks.
Okay.
What about
So
you?
which one of those do you go back to the most? Like the movie from like 1982 or whatever it was? Or
The Thing Called Love?
no, of Annie.
Oh, the Broadway soundtrack, honestly.
Okay.
If I'm being really honest, then I go to like I actually will play that like on purpose. But then I do love the version that has Carol Burnett, and it also has I think Kristen,
That was the movie from like
the movie.
1982.
Yeah,
or
and it has
81 or
Kristen
something.
Chenoweth as
What? She was in that?
I'm pretty sure it was Kristen Chenoweth played Rooster's girlfriend. I can't remember what her name was. Lily St. Regis. Look at me pulling that out. Isn't it Kristen Chenoweth? Please tell me it's Kristen Chenoweth.
Well, first I can
And-
confirm it was in fact 1982, so my memory is not complete garbage, which is great. And yeah, Carol Burnett, Tim Curry.
Yep, Tim Curry played a rooster. Albert Finney played Daddy Warbucks.
No. So what character did you think she was playing?
Lily St. Regis.
That was Bernadette Peters.
Bernadette Peters. That's who I meant. I lied. Totally lied. Maybe she played Lily St. Regis in the version with Audra McDonald and Victor Garber. Victor Garber.
I don't know.
Like, this is the Annie lore. Like, I could do a whole episode
I
on
saw the
Annie.
movie in '82, I think, with a double feature with Rocky 3. And
That's interesting.
like on a for my birthday, I think it was actually. And that's the last I've seen of Annie.
Well,
But I've always wanted one of those basement pools that Daddy Warbucks has.
right?
Oh man,
Ugh.
that seems great.
Yeah. So, okay, what about you? Soundtracks for you.
Yeah, this is a good question because I don't think of myself as really being a soundtrack guy. I own maybe one soundtrack that I purposely bought, and that was for the movie Pump Up the Volume. Do you remember that with Christian Slater?
Yes.
Why are you giving me that look?
Because I haven't thought about it since forever until you just said it. I'm like, uh-huh.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I got that because it's got some great artists on it, some great music. The movie's fun, but there's a track in the movie. Don't you hate this when there's a track in the movie that you love and then it's not included on the soundtrack? Well,
Yeah.
there's a song called "I'm in Jail" by Was Not Was that is played throughout this movie, and it is not included on the soundtrack. I was so disappointed when I got it.
Who is it? By?
Was Not Was. Remember that song, "Walk the Dinosaur"?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was their big pop hit. But on that same album, they had a song called I'm in Jail. It was, "Hi, Dad, I'm in jail. I like it here. In jail, jail, jail."
Oh
And
my God.
it's a goofy song, but it's
Oh.
great. It's really great. And then the other thing was that they use Everybody Knows by Leonard Cohen in the movie.
Yeah.
And that's used quite a bit throughout the movie. Again, not on the soundtrack. They've got a cover of it by Concrete Blonde, which is great, but I always preferred the Leonard Cohen version. And so I loved the soundtrack, but I was also kind of bummed out by what was left out. But it is a great soundtrack still because it does have Concrete Blonde on it doing Everybody Knows. It's got the Pixies, Wave of Mutilation, the slower version, so it's different from the album. So it's something
Okay.
that it's not necessarily exclusive to this, but it made it worthwhile to own. Peter Murphy is on it. An early track from Soundgarden before they really blew up.
Wow.
Sonic Youth is on it. Cowboy Junkies. So
Oh, I remember Cowboy Junkies.
yeah, it's a pretty
That's
solid
quite a soundtrack.
soundtrack of alternative artists from the time period that came out, which I think was 1990, maybe.
Whatever happened to Christian Slater? That's a different topic for a different time, but
Oh
like,
yeah, he's still out there
I never
doing his thing.
Interesting.
Did you ever watch Archer?
Oh, yes.
He's on Archer quite a bit.
Okay. Oh, that's funny.
So another one that I really enjoyed was There's Something About Mary, the movie, a very funny movie from the late 90s, the Farrelly brothers.
Yep.
They had great taste in music. So the soundtrack has one of my favorite artists featured in the movie, Jonathan Richman. He's in the movie. He does the title song. There's another song from him in the movie and on the soundtrack. Actually, there's 3 Jonathan Richman songs in there, but it also has Shirley Bassey with Propeller Heads. It has Lloyd Cole. It has Ivy. It has Ben Lee, Joe Jackson, Dandy Warhols, and more. All great stuff. And of course, Build Me Up Buttercup from the Foundations, which was used extensively in that movie. So
Build me up, Buttercup.
Yep.
Yep.
And so that's a great one, I think. And let's see. Oh, a movie that I still have never seen, but the soundtrack is still legendary among people that like indie rock, is Pretty in Pink, because that had a great title track from the Psychedelic Furs, which existed before the movie. So I think John Hughes took the name of the movie from their song, and then they re-recorded it for this soundtrack. But also Echo and the Bunnymen on there doing a great song. New Order has a great song. Joe Jackson on there. The Smiths, In Excess, Orchestrational Maneuvers in the Dark, and more. So that's one of those all-time great soundtracks for people that like new wave and alternative rock in the 80s. And well worth it. I have no idea if the movie is good, but I can tell you that the soundtrack is good.
The movie is good. It's like classic trope, angsty fringe kids, and like she falls for like, the Chad kind of guy. I adore. It is worth going onto YouTube and looking up the scene where Ducky, the character played by, what's his name from 2.5 Men?
John Cryer.
Thank you. She works in a record store, and he comes in and he sings a song, and he like works the whole record store, and it's like
I've seen clips from this, yeah.
And you're just like, I want to be friends with somebody like that. So at the very least, like that. But you're right. That is an amazing soundtrack, 100%.
And then one final one that I'll mention, and I already mentioned this at the beginning of the show, was Return of the Living Dead, which is a great movie, great for Halloween. But I did not expect to love the soundtrack as much as I did. But there's great original music in it, as well as some great like psychobilly surf rock stuff like the Cramps in it. So the music that's used ties into the theme of the movie, but just the theme music is great. I'm just going to do just a tiny snippet here so you can hear some of this.
Oh.
And this plays throughout the movie, and it's just used beautifully within it. And I said to myself, I think I'm going to have to hunt down the Return of the Living Dead soundtrack. I did not think going in that I would, A, rate this movie as being decent, or B, enjoy the music as much as I did. But it's great.
Well, you were talking about the poor use of the Bond music.
Yes.
Like, when we were talking about your new foray into Bond flicks.
Right.
And so it sounds like they actually used music smartly in this.
They absolutely did, yeah. And another thing is that we're pretty much out of time.
Oh,
so
great.
we can't, but we didn't even touch on scores.
That's
Musical
just a
scores,
whole-
because
yeah.
often they release like a soundtrack, which is like a playlist of songs used in a movie, but then the score is released separately, and that's a great soundtrack too. And there's so much brilliant music that's been done by composers, and
Totally.
those James Bond scores are incredible.
And the Star Wars movies.
Yeah, and the Star Wars John Williams stuff.
John Williams,
Incredible.
anything that
Yeah.
he does is amazing.
So that may be a whole nother show in the future.
There you go.
Yeah.
Look, don't ask us
We
to
will
talk.
score with that one.
We totally will.
But
right.
in the meantime, we got to figure out what we're going to talk about next week.
Let's do it.
Horseback riding.
Is it weird or not?
I think it's a little weird, but yeah, we can dive into that. And this is interesting because it comes on the heels of the Seattle Police Department being one of the last departments in the country with a mounted
Equine?
unit.
There you go.
Yeah, and they have decided, I think, to end it because it's so expensive to maintain. So
Look at me being topical.
yes, yeah. So yeah, we can touch on that, but also our horseback riding experience, which will be 100% you, but I'll no doubt have some thoughts about it.
Excellent.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Well, I look forward to it. Everybody, have a great week, and we'll talk to you next time.